Hi everyone, Srijit here. I'd like to discuss regarding AI in QA, where we stand actually. So let me start with an example. Let's say that there's a busy regression going on, maybe a code banking regression, full-time people are scrambling around, you're in a war room, it's late night, people are hoping that they do the final leg of testing critical functionalities. We want to know which are the test cases we need to test. Some defects have come up, critical defects have come up, what test cases to test, how to close these defects and stuff like that. Now imagine AI in this picture. How can AI help us? Let's say even before starting itself, going through the BRDs, FSDs requirement, AI has generated you test cases and given it to you. And then when defects come, AI understands the defect. It says, okay, these are the 25 critical test cases you have to test to ensure that this defect is no longer there. And then it also analyzes your test results. It gives you a dashboard telling that you have tested all this is your coverage, you have to, remaining so much testing is there. All this, imagine AI doing it. How would it be? How much effort would be reduced? How easy is it for the QA teams when such a helper or a co-pilot is available with you? So that's how we see AI. Now the question is, does AI actually do all this? The answer is a kind of an yes and a no. Yes, in the sense that yes, AI is very good when it comes to analyzing your test results, reporting and stuff. So a lot of QA teams are using it for the test reporting. That's where AI excels. But again, when it comes to test generation, test case generation, does AI help? The answer is again tricky. AI can generate you some test cases, which are good, no doubt, but they cannot give you an entire coverage. They cannot understand the business requirement, the risk, and accordingly generate test cases. That AI cannot do. Another area is compliance. When we talk about banks, insurance companies, a lot of compliance is in place as well. So you can't give the data directly to an AI model. Realistically speaking, as I was telling, AI's test reporting is one area AI is widely used. Other than that, automation is one area. The one major place where automation it is helpful is your self-healing. Somewhere your automation script stops working, it is not able to identify the objects on a UI screen. There AI can pitch in. Data generation. Data generation is another area, and for any test automation and testing in general, data is the backbone of everything. So generating data based on your specific requirements of your test cases, generating test data, synthetic test data. This is a place where AI excels again. So AI is pretty good at that, and based on certain criteria, it can query onto database, pick up the required data for the test case execution. All these areas, AI excels. But if I'm going to see a complete workflow of testing from my requirement, understanding the requirement, generating the test cases, automating them, executing them, verifying the results, at one go, can AI perform all these activities? In the current situation, no. You definitely require human supervision. You require human review to it. And there are certain areas it's better that you do it at this point in time with a little more automation and human in the loop than completely handing it over to AI. Let me discuss the current situation. As I was saying, human in loop. So this is a term typically in market everyone speaks, and it is the right thing to speak as well, because the AI models and what AI output it gives, the quality of output, as well as the efficiency of the output, they all are limited at this point in time. So human in loop makes more sense than doing things with AI alone. So in QA in specific, if you see, there are a lot of use cases. One use case I was talking about is test case generation. Other use case I was talking about is test reporting. Another use case, your test automation where AI is used. Now, let's take the first two use cases: test case generation and test reporting. In test reporting, with less human in loop, you can still have AI do things. You need a human to review it. So that portion, human in loop, comes on the review portion of things. Let's get the test case generation part. Present, what is happening is a lot of organizations are working on test case generators. They're trying to generate test case specific to their organization, their requirements, their testing needs. But they don't give you 100% coverage that you require in a niche testing scenario. So it doesn't give you 100% coverage. Then what do you do? That is where the human in loop comes in. If some QA tester or someone who's good in that domain on that testing, they have to review the test cases. They have to enhance the test cases and then use it. In automation, similar to your test results and test reporting, Again, there is a human element there. Not all your scripts are generated correctly by your AI. You will still require some sort of human review, updation or a correction there. So this is the current scenario. So this is where, so at this point, AI is a companion, it's a helper, and it's a pretty effective helper. Future we don't know, but at this point in time, is it going to replace humans? The answer is no. Will it reduce effort? The answer is yes. So somewhere where 10 people were doing it, maybe now 5 people or 4 of them will be doing it with the help of AI. Data is, from QA perspective, you can view data in 2 parts, very broadly if I'm to tell that. One is your synthetic data and other is your production data. Now, using production data comes with its own challenges. You can't actually take a production data and feed it directly into a model, especially if your model is outside your network. So yes, your cloud providers do provide workarounds on it, but still what currently is happening in the corporate world is that they have a huge team who are working on this data, masking these data. They decide which fields to give to the model, which fields they shouldn't be sending it to the model. So they label them, tag them, and do all these activities are done, and then the data is given to a model and inference is got. So that is limitations when it comes to using your corporate customer data with the model. They are fine-tuning them and using it within their network. So this is more secure than the first option I discussed, wherein you have your open AIs and other models outside your network. So this again, but this comes with its own challenges. You need a lot of computing power for this. If you're going to fine-tune a model to your custom data and use it, you do need a lot of computing power. Not all the organizations have them. There's another area where you generate synthetic data where the models are used even better. Right now, synthetic data is the area where people are using the models to a large extent. They given the criteria based on your test cases or your requirements. You give in certain context and criteria to the model. Based on that, the model generates synthetic data. It can relate data. It can relate scenarios and say, okay, for this particular scenario, over a period of this time, it needs to be tested. So you need this kind of an account. All that the model can infer and gives you good data, synthetic data. So there are limitations. There are areas where it is good at. We have to come up with a data strategy. If you're using a good data strategy, which cuts across your compliance, your audit requirements, as well as your testing requirements. So in context of banking, insurance or financial sector, I'll talk. Here domain plays a vital role. When I say domain, there are multiple layers to it. Now the first layer, your AI might be good because it has a lot of internet data to it. It knows what banking is, what are the processes. You can ask the business process and it will generate business processes and give. But they are not going to be customized or specific to your bank. And they are not going to be very specific to the application on which you are implementing it. So the application matters. For example, let's say a T24 or a FlexCube or core banking application. The AI models are not going to know the complete field names, the parameter setup and other things. The AI models are not going to. You will have to build a custom model, or you'll have to take an existing model and fine-tune it with all these details before actually. Then to do that, it's going to take a huge compute and it's pretty expensive in nature. So you can't blindly go. You still need people with good domain knowledge and stuff to implement it. So I can take a business process from a model, but for me to automate that completely, I still need the details of the application and stuff which the human might have to input, and in this case. AI is typically being used in market today. In fact, we have a diagram here which clearly explains how AI is being used in market today. One is your everyday AI part. This is typically what everyone uses. You have your ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, wherein you ask it some prompt and you will get some answers. Use that for your daily thing, maybe your emails and stuff. Then comes your AI productivity tools. So when we get into corporates, organizations, this is where a lot of focus comes in. So let's say you're a development organization, you use Cursor, that is good. Cursor helps you out with your coding and stuff. It's an AI powered productivity tool. Then you have, if you're coming into QA, you have tools like Playwright MCP, which connects to the model and generates Playwright scripts for you based on natural language. So that is also there. And then you have tools for your project management like Notion AI and stuff. So that is your second criteria. So your first one is your everyday AI, your ChatGPT and other models where you chat with it, get your answers. The second one is your AI productivity tools. Third part Third part is where things become tricky. It's your customized AI. I want my AI to respond to me based on my organization's data. If I'm doing testing, I want it to generate test case based on the products I have in my organization. When such question comes, you'll have to customize your AI. You'll have to fine tune or train your AI based on your custom task and your custom requirement. So that is your third criteria, wherein I'm not going to fine tune my model, I'm not going to train my model with the custom data. Still, I send these details to the model via a RAG pipeline. I enhance my prompt or my context and send it to the model so that the model understands the context and accordingly responds back. So that is your customized AI, the third bucket. And the final one is the core AI development itself, people developing their own models and stuff. This not many organizations do, especially banks and insurance. No, they're not going to do that. So these are the four criteria. So once you understand these four buckets, you know what your organization requires. So if I've been asked to say recommend what strategy to use for a bank's IT team, then I would be putting myself at this point in time in the third bucket, where I do a customized AI, because they do need response based on their data, not on any generic internet-based data. So let me give you an example with what had happened with one of our customers. So they wanted automation, they wanted the effort of the automation drastically reduced. They didn't have a proper AI strategy in place. They blindly went by what the market was talking, that you use MCP-based automation tools. You don't need testers. There are 10 testers and there are 5 testers, then you can reduce it to 2 testers, 1 tester. So they went by that. They went by that blindly. What they didn't understand is that for AI to perform at its optimal level, there are multiple criteria. What is the input that you give to AI? What is the data you're giving to AI? What is the nature of test cases you're giving to AI? How is your test case structured? All this matters. We all know requirements are not complete anywhere. Any organization, you don't have complete requirements. Some of the requirements are loosely worded and stuff like that. As humans, we understand, and as humans, we have the knowledge of that application, the domain and stuff, and we fill in. AI at this point cannot do that completely. So this is where the customer's strategy went wrong, and the entire automation strategy really went for a toss for them. So blindly going might not help. Instead, you specifically go see what kind of data you have and do a small prototype, check things out, do a POC, then decide how do you want to go. Maybe do it for a small project first. Does it work out with the existing data, test cases, resources, and whatever knowledge, context you have, which you can pass on to the AI, then see them. Do not go by hype, thinking that you have everything in place, whatever is being told, without testing it, you give to AI, it works. That may not happen. So we'll have to be careful. You can't go by hype, you'll have to go by realistic methodology, proper process, and proper POC need to be done before assuming whether this is right. If I'm to conclude my personal opinion on it, based on what I've seen so far in implementations which we have done and even in market, AI is not a hype. It is there. It is there to stay, and it is going to make big waves, no doubt. Currently, there are certain areas where it is good at. We'll have to map that out and use it accordingly. And there are certain areas you cannot use AI as is, but you can use it in parts. Like I was telling you, your test automation is a classic example. Your test case generation is another example. So these are areas where you can use it in parts. The third area is whatever we do, we need a solid framework in place, because compliance, your audit, all this matters, especially for organizations like a bank and an insurance company where your customer data, you stick to customer data like your PII data and stuff, norms and other things. So you'll have to make sure that you meet all these compliance. So you'll have to have some sort of trust layer within your organization before you implement any type of data strategy. So is it a hype? No, it is not a hype. It is already there. It is happening. People are using it. It is effective. But is it a magic tool that does everything? Definitely no, it cannot do everything. You do definitely require humans in loop, a proper strategy, and you also have to change your current system in the sense that how your data is stored, how you do your data masking, you will have to convert all this into AI required pipelines. So if you're going to use AI, then you'll have to make some changes to your existing method of doing things. You'll have to make it that they're all AI prepared. So these are the things I would consider.